Hear ye, and welcome to another fun and exciting demo brought to you by the Indiana State Museum and Historic Sites. My name is Matt Walls, and you have just been appointed the leader of your very own piece of land. Now, as leader of this land, your first job is to create a map of that land, along with a constitution or a list of guidelines for people living on that land to follow. Now, documents such as this one can be hundreds, if not thousands of years old. In fact, the Indiana Constitution, which was written in 1816, is over 200 years old. So in addition to creating this document, we'll also be aging the paper to make it look old and official. Now, the materials you'll need for this demo are a baking pan, a piece of computer paper, a ruler, the writing utensils of your choice. Now, this demo does use water, so make sure those utensils are water resistant. For mine, I've chosen a Sharpie, a pencil, and a pen. You also need a sheet of paper towel, some instant coffee. Now, if you don't have instant coffee lying around your house, you can use any coffee grounds that you do have. You'll also need some water, and there will be an optional additional activity that uses some dice. So gather those materials, settle into being the leader of a new land, and we'll get started. Once you've gathered all of your supplies, the first thing we're going to do is to draw a grid on your piece of paper. Now, in my example, I'll be following the structure laid out in the Land Ordinance of 1785, another old document which stated that townships in Indiana should be divided into 36 square mile rectangles. An easy way to accomplish this is to take your ruler and take your pencil, and starting at the bottom of your page and using the width of your ruler as a measuring device, draw 6 rows up your piece of paper. Once you've drawn 6 rows going up your piece of paper, simply turn your ruler 90 degrees and draw 6 columns going across your paper. Once you've done this, your piece of paper should look something like this. 36 squares with an extra column left over, which I used to create a key for my map. Now, we're ready to lay out our map. All right, here's where the fun begins. Now, if you'd like to get straight to drawing your map, feel free using your permanent marker. And really let your imagination run wild. This is your land. You can build whatever you'd like. You can build lakes or forests or mountains or skyscrapers or pyramids or castles or UFOs. This is your chance to get creative. A brief side note here. If you're following the Land Ordinance of 1785 like I am, Lot 16 was traditionally set aside for a school, which I've added here. That way, a school would be at the center of each township. And if you'd like an added challenge, or are having trouble figuring out what to draw, take some dice. I have 4. Assign a feature to each number on the dice. In my example, 1 is forest, 2 is mountain, 3 is lake, and then I repeated that pattern for 4, 5, and 6. Scoop up those dice and roll them inside of your grid. If one lands outside of the grid, that's okay. Simply re-roll it. Or, if you don't like the feature you're seeing or the position of that feature, feel free to re-roll it as well. Then, using that permanent marker, fill in the feature where each dice landed. We've drawn our grid, we've laid out our map. Now it's time to write some laws. Now, normally these laws would have to be passed through the three branches of government: legislative, executive, and judicial. But for our purposes, any laws you write for your land will automatically be passed. Now, these laws can look like those in our Constitution and Bill of Rights, such as the freedom of speech, the right to a fair trial. These can look like rules in your household, such as say please and thank you, or wash your hands every chance you get. Or these laws can just be silly, such as everyone must wear pink all the time, or citizens get free pancakes every Friday. Either way, feel free to lay these out however you'd like, but again, here's the template that I'm using. I'm putting the name of my land at the top of my page, and 3 laws that I'd like followers in my land to abide by. I'd like to challenge you to write 3 laws, but if you'd like to write more or less, that's perfectly fine as well. Finally, we have to make the document official by signing it. And this is a chance to get everyone in your household involved. Your guardian, your brother or sister, your dog. Have everyone you can sign this document to say that they've read it and agree to it. Finally, it's time to age our paper. Now, this part can get a little messy, so I'd recommend having your parent or guardian help you. You have the option, if you'd like, of crinkling and uncrinkling your paper to make it look even older. If you do this, make sure to be careful because the edges can rip. So we'll crinkle this up, uncrinkle it, and then we're ready to add our coffee grounds. I'd recommend placing your paper in the baking sheet before doing this. Next, pour the coffee grounds directly into the center of your paper towel. Take that paper towel, fold it, and wrap it up so that the coffee grounds are in a pocket at the bottom. Next, take your water, dip your coffee grounds in that water, and paint your paper so that it's covered in the brown coffee. Make sure to do this front and back so that you get a nice even coat. Once you've completed painting the front and the back of your paper with those coffee grounds, it should look something like this. Now the map is ready to dry. With your guardian's help, you can either bake this in the oven at 200 degrees for 5 minutes, or what I did is simply put it outside in the sun to dry naturally. Either way, after your paper dries, it should come out looking something like this. You now have an official map of your land, along with a list of laws that members of your land are to follow, and you are ready to lead. Congratulations, and thank you for joining me again at the Indiana State Museum and Historic Sites. I hope you'll tune in again for some of our exciting demos that are yet to come. And I hope that you and your family are staying healthy and safe.